he brought along an architect, and we all had a good snoop round and talk round. And it's a lovely building. It's very impressive. There are one or two things that just little things that need doing. Things that the architect pointed out that me as a long-lived builder of 60 years missed. But there you go. But he was very thorough, and he's sending an email with all the information in over to us, so we could sort of get in touch with Strata. And before we do an official handover, we want to make sure that everything's absolutely right. There were one or two issues. It's been signed off by planning, that's the building, so they're happy with it. I don't know if anybody else has been up, but it is a lovely building. It's very spacious. All mod cons, solar panels, great heating system. Very efficient, all wheelchair access, everything we asked for. It's going to be a great space, and it's in a great spot as well. So, I mean, there are one or two issues with the landscaping and things like that, but they will sort them out before we actually take hold of it. So that's very positive. That was a very positive meeting this morning. And Steve Wells has helped us with one or two other buildings in the village, I think, and he's on the case, and he's really good. So that's all I want to say on that. What's that, sir? Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm doing the wrong one. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's why. I'm sorry. I was extraordinary when I was talking about that. That was the extraordinary general F&GP meeting. Not the.
Yeah, 2 weeks later.
Yeah, so I'm reading from the script. So can I ask for a proposal?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got a quick question on the first July meeting. So about the expressions of interest for the Ackworth Community Centre. So I'm just a little bit more about that. Item 4.1, the second part of it.
Item
4.1. The second part of 4.1, Ackworth Community Centre expression of interest timeline.
Right.
Where's it at?
Do you want to?
Yeah. So actions with me currently. I remember at a previous meeting we looked at the actual expressions of interest documents. That's the part that's been signed off to use. At the 3rd of July meeting, we spoke about the matters of advertising that out to make sure that we get the right candidates for that. So we spoke about our website, we spoke about social media, and we spoke about newspapers, and we spoke about it used to be known as Johnson's Press, but it's actually changed ownership now. It's, I can't remember, it's national something. So I've gone out and I've contacted them for prices on adverts, but they've not come back to me as of yet. I've also in the meantime attended some procurement training, and they've given me some other ideas as well as to how we can best advertise that going forward. So we'll start with the newspaper advert, and then obviously from there, if we need to hold another meeting to see if we need more candidates or we review, we can do that. But ultimately the action's with me, and we're awaiting the newspaper costings.
I have some concerns on that point too. I have concerns in that I too was on the last parish council, and I have concerns that we have been and are spending money when actually I'm not sure the proper processes were followed for this. I don't think it was agreed by full council. It's been carried away by committees. We've had meetings that weren't really supposed to happen, that the public didn't go to. Discussions on it for most of the time were in, until it was decided by a committee, I think, to do it, were in private parts of meetings. So I'm expressing my sadness that I have to bring that up, because I think it's a governance issue, and I'm kind of fed up of bringing those on. There is a thing for the Finance Committee that not on that point, but I did at the point where we were discussing their minutes want to bring up, Chair, because I don't know if they know it, but there's something called, you know, I've looked at finance in the past, but you always have to keep up to date, and I see that there is in 2021, there's a joint panel on accountability and governance. Practitioners died, that is by, I can't remember the name of them, but it's NALC and an accountancy. It's a whole thing, and it's March 2021. So I just want to draw their attention of the Parish Council to that and ask that it be looked at. And as I say, I'm fed up of bringing up discomfort with some of the governments, but this I do feel very much with this particular issue.
Thank you for that.
Can I just make a comment on that? I think it's a serious thing to say that we're not following proper procedures, and I think that it would be helpful to have specifics really, written down so that they can then be properly investigated and properly followed up.
Can I just say, Chair, that from Councillor Balfour's contribution, I feel intimidated.
Yes, I have.
Councillor Sherwood?
On the note of the Low Ackworth Community Centre, I think I've felt that there doesn't seem to be a fully costed plan or budget, and yet from the May meeting where there was a suggestion that the building would cost about 300,000 from the highest quote, in the next financial general purposes meeting it suddenly leapt to £500,000, the cost of it, and I feel like it's a figure that's really in the dark. And I think there are things about it that are unanswered for the council, for other councils perhaps than those that are involved in the committee of the Low Ackworth Community Centre, in that it doesn't seem to have been fully costed. We don't actually own the land, we've got a lease on it, and it'd be interesting to know how we stand there. I feel like there are quite a few questions that it would be really lovely to get some clarity on, particularly around costs, because what I understand is that a budget should be fully costed before we commit ourselves.
Well, can I just say there's nothing dark, we use the word dark, there's nothing dark, everything is absolutely transparent, and nothing would ever be decided without it being costed. The variations in the costings are our estimates, because at the moment, as you all know, everybody knows, building costs are going through the roof and things are changing. So we can't sort of set a figure. We've got this much to spend. We haven't had people doing reports. We haven't had people doing estimates and things like that. So we're not quite sure how much it's going to cost the council.
So then, obviously, I'm new to this, so I'm seeing it from an outside perspective. And I think there's a number of issues. One is that I think if you come into something, so some of us like me and you, so I can't know what went wrong before, so I can't see that pattern. So you're taking it as part of the way through, because it's not fair to someone say, oh, let's go back to stage one, because I don't know what's going on. But I'm assuming that there's like an audit trail of everything that's happened, isn't there?
Is that from this?
Yeah.
So like yourself, I'm
Yeah.
new to it part way through, so I know it from
I'm assuming
May onwards, but it would be, yeah.
So that if you need to, you can look at that audit trail. I think the other thing is there's the danger if we're not careful. If we don't have committees doing some of the work, we all have to do all of it, and then that doesn't work. So I think we, to a degree, have to have some trust in the committees that we've created as councils. We don't, we need to go back and rethink that, because otherwise you can't do anything. But I'm sure it would be quite easy, particularly if it has big financial decisions, perhaps in the future, to have like an audit trail as we go along, so that when people, because I've noticed there's a number of issues that people are revisiting and saying, I saw you email this, and I didn't hear you email this, and I don't know what happened there, which is fine, you might not, but if we minted that as a little for that future reference, does that make sense? Without having to trail back through things in the future. it might easily be mine.
Can I just make a simple point for clarity? The expressions of interest, the timeline we've done for the first stage is expressions of interest. That will bring about companies that are interested and who've done this kind of work before, coming up with some kind of ideas. We're not saying we've got an open checkbook. You can come and build £1 million community centre. What we give the parameters. We can just give what we need in the parameters. They will come up with some figures, and we can look at the figures and see what we can afford and what we can do. And that's all done transparently. That's all done out in the open, so that the councils can all see that. So yeah, Councillor Balfour.
Yeah, I was going to say about the expressions of interest paper, which we all had. I think that set out the process really clearly, and I think if councillors go back to that and have a look at it, then some of the points that are being raised today will be cleared up, really clarified.
I'll take one more, Councillor.
Sorry, can I just say on that, could we have a copy of that paper then? Because
We got
we
it,
were,
didn't we?
We've all, it's on,
I don't think we got it as new councillors. I don't remember seeing that. That's all. So that's all my request is.
Yeah,
I think
I'll
it was,
find out what meeting it was
I think
in
it
and
was
send a copy of
three
it.
dozen councillors, yeah.
I think it was on the previous.
Susie.
It was just to say that the reason I commented is that there was such a big leap of 200,000 from one month to the next. That's what piqued my interest.
I think the £500,000 wasn't a figure that we set out as we want something that's going to cost £500,000. The £500,000 is the limit of what we can borrow from the scheme we're thinking about borrowing the money from. So that was the upper limit. That was the upper limit of what we can borrow. If we do an expression, I mean, if an architect and a building company come and say we can build this for £300,000, £350,000, then that's what we'll borrow. The 500,000 was the absolute upper limit of what we can borrow. So that's where that figure came from. We're allowed to borrow up to £500,000 at the moment. We are, and obviously the least we can borrow, the better, because of everything else, the precepts and everything.
Okay, that does give a bit of courage.
You mentioned dark. Now, dark is a funny word because it has negative connotations. And I'm presuming you mean transparency. And I too was in the last parish council, and I can tell you it was not transparent about this. It wasn't transparent to the public. And something has happened.
Councillor Marshall, I mentioned dark because it's what Councillor Sherritt said. It was done in the dark. So I echoed what she
Okay,
said.
but can I
I
just
was
finish?
clarifying what the dark meant.
I'm not making, I just wanted to clarify that. Transparency. So I didn't feel it was transparent in the last, and I wasn't the only one. And it isn't a case of this being just a small thing that could... I agree with the audit trail. That is great. That is a really good suggestion. But this is a major purchase for this village, and it's a major cost on all of our council tax. So if it hasn't been done right, then we shouldn't be spending money on it. I will stop there. I've expressed what I think.
Okay, thank you. Right, I'm going to go to the goal, please. We've got a proposal to accept the minutes of the F&GP proposed by Councillor Clark. Have we got a seconder? Councillor Gelton, can take a vote. All those in favour, hands up. All those in favour. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Against? 1 against. Abstain? 2 abstain. 3 abstain, sorry. Okay. So 13. So we see the minutes of the Environment, Road Safety and Planning Committee meeting held on the 3rd of July. Anybody who was at the meeting have anything to say about that? Item 9 on that. Was this after the car had crashed into the brown cow?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, have you got anything to comment on that? Can you just ask for a proposer to accept these minutes? Councillor Sheridan, second by Councillor Bland. All those in favour of acceptance? That's 9 against, 1. Thank you very much. Item 14 on the agenda to receive the minutes of the allotment subcommittee meeting held. That wasn't quorate, so we don't need to do that. Item 15. To note the minutes of the village events committee meeting held on the 13th of July.
Can I just sort of make a point, Chair, that on, just in case it comes up at another time, so brought up by somebody in the future, item 1 to elect and 2 to elect a chair and a vice chair. The terms of reference of this committee say that the chair should be elected by the full parish council, but if you remember at the May parish, the May parish council, we didn't do that, and so the proposals, the people who proposed Councillor Roberts as chair and Councillor Maiden as vice chair, they're coming as recommended. In approving the minutes, we'll be approving those people as chair and vice chair, the full parish council.
Is everybody happy with that, or does anybody want to put forward a different chair and vice chair?
I just wanted to
Councillor Marsh,
I just wanted to point out, for the benefit of people who were not in part of the previous council, this idea that we approve the minutes and what is in them together is a relatively new phenomenon and seems to have come about in about the last 6 months. It's just a point of information.
So can I take it that in approving this we're all in favour of Councillor Roberts being chair and Councillor Maiden being vice chair? Can I have a show of hands for that? Just that on its own? Is that okay? Okay, so I'll ask for a proposer to accept these minutes and I'll include it in them. So I've got a proposer to accept these minutes as they stand. Councillor Balfour, seconded by Councillor Bland. Can I have show of hands for all those in favour, please? That's 9 in favour. Against? 1 against. Thank you very much. It stands here elected as chair and vice chair. So 16 to receive the minutes of FGT Extraordinary Committee meeting on the 13th of July and approve the recommendation of England. So,
We did on item 3, we did have quite a bit of discussion about what the remit of the working group would be, but that isn't it's not been noted in the minutes. I think it would be helpful if that would, if notes could be made from the recording of the meeting, so that it's clear to everybody what the remit of that working group will be.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions in relation to this. One actually is, because I've gone through previous minutes of both the full parish council and finance and general purposes, and my question really is, what was the process by which Steve Wells Associates were chosen in terms of this? Because we know, I mean, forgive me if I've missed it, but there's nothing recorded in any minutes actually about using an external body, and B, approval of Steve Wells, who I assume is going to be invoicing, and therefore there's a cost associated with that.
No.
So it's completely free. It's as a friend of the parish council.
Oh, okay.
It's not in the form of his company or anything like that. It was just as a experienced person that we know.
Okay.
He's a long-term Ackworth resident who's helped
I
him.
kind of know Steve because his office is in the same building as mine.
Yeah.
So it was not against him, it was just the process.
Yeah.
No, that's
Just a
fine.
friend to the
Yeah,
council.
okay, well, no, that's great. I'll say thanks when I see him next.
To be honest, in my experience, they've given us this morning about 500 quid of the free.
Yeah, okay.
free
No,
will.
that's great then. Obviously, I didn't see that, but I have one other question if you don't mind, and that's just item 10.1. It does say an outline budget of 45k is approved. There are a couple of things in terms of that. Is that a maximum budget that would then need further approval should more be needed?